morning, everybody. Today is February 28th, 2020. It's Friday. Not a very happy Friday for most of stock market investors, but at least it's Friday and we have a weekend tomorrow, and we could take a break from this crazy 1,000 point drops that we've been experiencing this whole week. As you probably realize by now, what's happening on the market is unprecedented, and really the old models that we had that we're trying to analyze and predict the market are not working. Okay, the model that I usually employ for trading assumes that we take a pretty stable stock, like a blue chip stock such as Microsoft, Intel, Procter & Gamble, IBM, Apple for that matter. And these stocks, they, because they're very solid, very major stocks and representatives of the economy, some of them with market capitalizations with $1 trillion and more, they're pretty stable. And this kind of guarantees that when this stock is trading, it's gonna go through the same price point several times a day, which means that you could play around that point, enter some trades. I trade stock options personally, but you could enter certain trades betting that this stock is going to go to that price point a couple of times a day, or 3, 4, 5 times a day. And you could actually make money on the swing trades where your position goes up by 20, 30, 40%, your stock option position. And if you don't catch it the first time, you'll catch it the second time, the third, because the market is shaking up and down, up and down. Your stock is going up and down, up and down. So there is super high probability that the stock will cross your price point, and you would be able to get in and get out with some profit. However, what's happening in the last few days is that the stocks, they open and they just go down and down and down, and if you miss your point, there's not the probability is not super high that the stock will go back to that point, especially if you're trying to bid up, meaning that you're going to buy a call option and with an assumption that, okay, the stock just dropped to kind of a low point, then it's going to come back, then it's going to go back down, up and down, up and down, and you could make some money. But now what happens is that you enter a position, the stock collapses and never comes back to your price point. So this is very unusual, unprecedented situation, and I think this week we're going to record a super major loss for the stock market that we never experienced before. Point wise, that's for sure, meaning that we'll be down 5,000 points this week. Percentage wise, well, if we assume that we started the market with, let's say, 29,000 and we lost 5,000, that's frankly, it's 20% loss for the week. And you have to understand that Dow Jones is a 100-year-old index. In 1 week we lost one-fifth of this index, or it's not super accurate, but if you assume that the stock index was growing more or less steady for the last 100 years, then we lost the gain that was achieved in the last 20 years. It's not exactly like that, but still, it's pretty staggering. So So at this point, I would say for the majority of investors to stay down, to wait out in cash and just see what would happen, because the problem now is that no great economical results, no great earning reports, new products, contracts, and all this other normal stuff that usually bumps the stocks back up, or at least creates more or less stable economic situation, does not work. So at this point, if you are entering the stock market, you are really playing a Russian roulette. And since I'm from Russia, I know what it's like. It's like you don't know what's gonna happen. You might win or you might die, so even I took some losses this week. Unfortunately, my losses were not that great, and I actually had locked in some wins, but that's because I don't hold most of my positions overnight. I get in, get out. Sometimes I take a small loss. In most cases, I try to get out with a small gain, or not just this week I'm talking about. But for most of you, I would say that you should probably stay down and wait out this dangerous period in the market, because, as I said, we're not doctors. We don't know how the virus works, how it spreads, and it's pretty much out of your control, especially when Center for Disease Control is basically saying that, they have no idea, how to pretty much fight it or how it works. And vaccines, if they would be available, they would be available probably in a few months. So once we have a definite medication, like antiviral drug or vaccine for this thing, and the death rate drops to the same level or same percentage as, let's say, a regular flu, then we could probably predict what's going to happen with the market much more accurately. But nowadays, it's going to be very, very dangerous right now to enter the market. So, but if you still have an appetite for some risk and you want to play the market and see if you're lucky enough, there is actually some help that you could get by downloading my app. The app is available where if you go to the website 2stx.com, it will take you directly to the Apple App Store, where you could download, install, and run my app on your iPhone, iPad, and Apple TV. And it covers 5,000 stocks with daily buy and sell recommendations. And there are some still stocks to buy right now, but be careful. Thank you for your time and good luck trading.